of coming back. Our next speaker, Ivan Mishula, has a truly remarkable story. He's a graduate of Yale. Around the time of his 20th reunion, he got a questionnaire as to how he was doing, and he was sitting in a federal prison in Otisville when he got that. Since that time, he has left. He has gone to John Jay. He's on the faculty there. He is going and working for his doctorate, and he does remarkable work throughout New York and the metropolitan area on prison reentry, and I give you Evan.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Mayor Phillip. Obviously, thank you, Governor. And thank you to the faculty of this university for making this room available for such an important topic. And so I want to talk to you about one small fact that U.S. Attorney Fishman mentioned, which is that 1 in every 28 children in the United States, 1 in every 9 African-American children in the United States has a parent who's incarcerated. So, there are a large number of law enforcement and court personnel in this room, some of whom have their guns out, and most of you don't. But I just want to say that how you treat people as they're going through the criminal justice procedures has a tremendous effect on whether people believe that they will ever be accepted again. We all make mistakes. We all do. Some of us are lucky enough to be punished for those, and others make bigger ones later on. And so I certainly made mine, and when I was at the bottom and sitting in federal prison and didn't know whether or not I was ever going to get a job again, whether someone who had been given so much and let it all slip through their hands could ever come back. There were people that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. That is a tremendous asset. No piece of academic evidence like the nothing works stuff that came out in the 1970s could ever be true. The work that many of the people do in this room with people who are still struggling is valuable. I know it's valuable not just because I've reviewed the literature or that I am currently engaged in evaluation practice at John Jay. I know because it was valuable to me when I was lost in that desert. I guess it's Passover and Easter, so everybody's sort of saying it. And so I want to thank you. Even if I don't know you personally, I want to thank you for the work that you do for the people who are not yet able to say thank you. Because at some point, with enough work and a little bit of luck, maybe they will be. These are programs worth your time. I have to cite some academic literature, right? For every $1 that is spent on a college program in prison, a state reaps $3 in benefits in future tax revenue and in reduced incarceration costs going forward. There's been a lot of talk about the 66% failure rate of returning felons, but what is lost sometimes on that old statistic from 1994 is that there is a lot of state-by-state variation in that, and that variation is worth billions of dollars. I only say it because it opens up the possibility. New York State has reduced the number of prisoners it holds from 72,000 to 56,000. That generates $4 billion a year for New York State. I hope that the federal government and that New Jersey will be able to reduce its prison population by a similar amount so that the taxpayers of New Jersey can enjoy those benefits. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Evan. Our next speaker immediately to my left is a very strong man who did some hard time in New Jersey State Prison. He went through the Integrity House program, and now he gives back in the Fathers Now program. He mentors and he runs Bible study programs. Larry Harrell. Larry.
First of all, I'd like to say this is an honor and privilege to be here. Governor Chris Christian.
You got to pull the mic closer.
I feel very honored to be in your presence. Governor Jim McGreevey, my best friend, you know, my spiritual counselor, guider, excuse me. I like to say that my journey started at a real early age. I started drinking at the age of 4. My parents kept a lot of alcohol around the house, so it was easy to get access to drinking. So I started drinking at an early age, and it had a profound influence on my life. I knew I was in trouble at an early age, and I wanted to commit suicide. I used to play out in the traffic. My mother told me I got hit by a truck, police car, taxi, a regular car. I mean, I used to play dangerous game out in the traffic because I was intoxicated. So for you parents who keep a lot of alcohol in the home and you got small ones, be careful, because you never know. They can get a hold of that and not even let you know it, you know, and then before you know it, you got trouble on your hand. But what I did was, in my youth, I grew up in the city of Detroit. In my youth, I was always running around, always getting in trouble. And I would get in trouble. What I did to avoid prison and jail, I would always run. If I did something, I would run. One thing that really helped me at an early age was that I ran to the military. Okay, I knew I needed some really strong discipline in my life, and 10 years of military, you know, gave me a lot of training. But what I took with me was my desire to get high in drugs, because it moved from one point to the next. I was doing all types of drugs. Well, in my travel in the military, I learned to speak. I speak fluent German, Korean, so I got to see the world. But when my father passed in 1980, that had a profound effect on my attitude. So I started back to really using drugs in the military. And they was on the verge of putting me out. But I was smart enough, you know, smart enough. I keep saying smart enough, but I found a way to get by and leave the military with an honorable discharge. But coming home, growing up in the city of Detroit, I found myself getting with the wrong crowds, and there I am back down that street. Then I was introduced to the crack cocaine, that lifestyle, and when, you know, using that stuff, it really puts you in another zone, and you find yourself doing things that you thought you'd never do in your life. And I found myself hurting people and doing things that I thought was really crazy, but seemed like I didn't have any control. In and out of treatment facilities, it only helped momentarily. I knew I needed a power much greater than myself to really bring me back to sanity. And so for 45 years, I avoided the law by running from state to state, because by traveling all over the states, I knew I could go here. I knew how to live here. I go there and live, because, you know, getting a job, temporary service. So I'll run from the law. You know, after I do a crime, I'll run. So I avoided prison by running, okay? And so for 45 years, I did that. And then at the age of 45, I remember being in a park. I had a pint of Irish Rose, and I was doing crack cocaine, and it seemed like the weight of everything I was doing, okay, fell upon me. And I fell to my knees and I prayed, you know. And I asked God to come into my life, okay? And treatment facilities wasn't enough for me. I needed something much stronger. And fell to my knees. I took a toy gun. 2 days later, I was sticking people up with a toy gun. I figured, well, I'm not going to hurt anybody, but I do want some money. So I thought, okay, if the law do catch up with me, they're not going to give me much time for using a toy gun to take advantage of people. And but I found out that wasn't the case. Because it was a threat to their lives, even though I wasn't intending, I'm not going to hurt them, but because they felt that way. So I got a little taste of the law now. And all this time I've been running now I'm at that dead end. And I remember praying. And I remember I'm waiting for the pizza delivery guy coming. I'm sitting there with a toy gun, and I see an unmarked car coming. For somehow I knew to run, because I always knew how to avoid the law. But for this time, I stood there, and I couldn't move. It's like a force took hold of me. And when it was 2 undercover cops, and they came up, and that was it. I was given 2 first-degree armed robbery, looking at 40 years, and they ended up giving me I ended up taking it to trial, which don't ask me why. But I mean, all the evidence was there. But anyway, they said I was looking at 40 years, so they ended up giving me, I had to go into the trial, I lost the trial, and they gave me a 1585. And one of the things that the prosecutor did where he had, because I knew if you get arrested, don't talk. That's one of the things I knew. But anyway, through that, right, I started going to Bible study. I knew this is the time. If I'm and I believe that the Lord put me here for a purpose. Okay, now I'm looking at now I'm doing a 1585. What you gonna do with your time? So I figured this is the time to really learn, really draw close to God. You know what I mean? And really get that power that's way greater than yourself into your life. So I Bible study. I started taking Christian living classes. I started taking deacon classes. I just started really I went on a learning spree. I just started learning. I learned how to do horticulture. I learned how to do electronics. I learned how to do HVAC, plumbing. What else? I did the